The alien fleet arrived in perfect silence. 50 ships, carved from obsidian alloys and laced with ultraviolet thrusters, emerged from the void like a school of predators slipping through deep water. Their hulls glistened with reflective armor, designed to refract sensor pings and dazzle primitive eyes. Behind their jagged design was centuries of engineering trophies from every empire they'd crushed. This fleet was not here to talk, it was here to conquer. Inside the command ship, Dominion Spear High Marshal Verthax lounged in his acceleration throne, gnarled talons tapping against the obsidian armrest. He was amused. The target system was as backward as their archives claimed. One sun, a handful of mineral-rich moons, a green-blue planet teeming with carbon-based life, too primitive to even classify. Sensors registered crude radio waves. No planetary shields, no space fleet, no orbital defenses, and one ship, just one. It drifted silently in low orbit above the Earth-like planet, its silhouette partially hidden in the shadow of a small moon. A human vessel, by the looks of its dated design carbon titanium frame, inefficient, shielding an absurd number of heat vents. Laughable Verthax curled his lips in contempt. Is this their defense? His second-in-command, a pale-skinned Plarthy, with 6 ocular slits emitted, a chuckling trill. One ship, High Marshal. The rest must be underground, or host still launching from their oceans. Another round of laughter rippled through the bridge. Aliens from 4 species, Kornathi tacticians, Gloonshock captains, and even to Okari from the Flame Worlds, snorted and hissed in mirth. The fleet had faced down armadas before. Full coalitions, entire empires. Now they were going to enjoy dismantling a species who had the gall to fly a single, ancient cruiser into orbit as a show of force. Send a broad-frequency broadcast, Verthax ordered lazily. Let us mock them before we erase them. The comms deck hummed to life. Across the system, a booming, translated voice rang out from the Dominion Spear. To the species designating itself as humanity, we are the harrowing Concordat. You stand in violation of the Silence Protocol. Your expansion is unauthorized. Your presence is irrelevant. Evacuate your vessel, abandon your claim to this world, and submit your population to integration. Static filled the channel for several long seconds. Then a human voice crackled through .female.com, almost amused. Integration. The voice said, "You're going to need a bigger fleet." Dead silence on the bridge. Then Verthax slammed a clawed fist into the side of his throne. How dare she mock? But before he could finish the sentence, the lone human vessel came to life. Its outer shell, once dull and seemingly patched with repairs, shimmered. Heat vents sealed shut, plates realigned. Energy readings spiked like a volcano priming to erupt. Subspace rippled around it, as if it were generating its own gravity well. Sensors screamed in confusion. "What is it doing?" barked the Plarthy. Verthax leaned forward. "Analyze." Too late. The ship's main drive activated, but instead of thrusting away, it released a pulse's silent detonation of gravitonic energy that rolled through the Concordat fleet like a silent tsunami. One of the Gloon captains shouted in alarm. "We've lost position. Stabilizers failing." Every Concordat vessel began drifting. In perfect silence, their formation broke. Ships tilted, pulled off axis by invisible forces. They couldn't map. Verthax's mandibles clacked. "That ship is emitting a mass displacement field without moving." That was impossible. Impossible. Someone muttered behind him. Then the ship's lights changed. From behind its hull, panels retracted like armored petals, revealing sleek, black canisters etched with deep red runes. The humans had named this class of weapon anvils. Each anvil was a self-contained singularity missile. Not meant to explode, but to compress space itself. Not designed to destroy ships but to crush them into memory. The first anvil launched. It didn't flash. It didn't scream. It simply moved across the bridge of the Dominion Spear. Every tactical officer tracked the projectile. It veered slightly, then curved, then twisted in a maneuver that defied Newtonian physics, and curved spacetime with it. It struck the third cruiser in the forward concordat line, and then that cruiser was gone. No explosion, no debris, just silent sand, a smear in space where mass had once existed. Half the bridge crew froze. The others hissed. This wasn't a weapon. It was a rewriting of physical law. Then 4 more anvils launched. "They're targeting our forward line," shouted a Kornathi engineer. "They're not targeting," Verthox said, rising slowly. "They're selecting." And one by one, the warships vanished. Each was carefully chosen, no random bombardment, no collateral strikes. The human ship, impossibly, was operating with surgical precision, and the targeting wasn't machine-made. The pattern was emotional. It was vengeance. Send drones. Jam their launch protocols. Disrupt that field. But as the Concordat launched hundreds of fast-moving interceptors, the human ship pulsed again, this time with a light that cracked the void. A defensive ring formed. Each pulse generated crystalline structures, diamond-bright shards orbiting the ship like blades. The drones struck them and shattered. That was when the data finally resolved on the Dominion Spear's sensors. The AI parsed the ship's designation, HSV Valkyrie, Old Earth Terran class, assault carrier, presumed destroyed 2 centuries ago during the collapse. It was a ghost ship, but it was alive, or worse, reborn. "Hi, Marshal," the Plarthy said in a whisper. "There's something else, in the signal. Hidden sublayer, beneath the emissions. A voice, a code." Verthax narrowed his gaze. "Decode it," it says. "She's watching." A new image appeared on their screens. A woman, human, blonde, wearing an old-world officer's coat. Her eyes were silver, not glowing, piercing. She did not smile. She stared. Verthax felt his breath catch. "That's the pilot?" "No," whispered the Gloon captain. "That's the ship." The human vessel moved. Not moved. Space folded and it jumped without. Dry fire. It reappeared behind the main Concordat formation and released a second volley of anvils. 2 ships vanished. Another's hull buckled inward like it had been gripped by a cosmic hand. "We must retreat," screamed one of the Okari. Verthax did not respond. He was locked onto the face of the woman on the screen. There was something ancient in her eyes. Something old as war itself. Then, finally, she spoke. "You came to mock a species that crawled through ash and learned to bite. You came thinking you'd conquer what you didn't understand." Her voice deepened, not with volume, but gravity, like it was coming from every particle in space. "You thought you'd face a ship. You found a grave." The screen cut to black. The Valkyrie launched its final payload, a single object. Small, the Dominion. Spear's sensors identified it as a beacon, but not a signal to allies. A warning. It broadcasts only one line of text. "This is human territory. Trespass, and you won't die. You'll disappear." The Concordat fleet broke formation. Warp signatures blossomed like a panic bloom. They fled. They left behind no retaliation, no parting salvo, only the crushing silence of defeat and the lingering echo of something they could not name. On the bridge of the Valkyrie commander, Elira Voss exhaled. Her body was human. Her mind was not. Not anymore. The ship lived through her, and it remembered the collapse, the betrayals, the galactic abandonment, and the promise made to every species who watched Earth burn from orbit and turned away. "We'll rebuild," the humans had said, but not for peace. With a soft whisper, Elira turned from the stars. Reset. Sleep. The Valkyrie's weapons folded back. Its lights dimmed. The crystalline defense ring dissolved into space dust, and the ship returned to stillness, waiting for the next fool who thought Earth was weak. Because first contact always begins with words, but, for humans, it ends with silence and shadows.